My true love's here.
Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of truth to this tree of life. Open up the book just to see I'm right. Reminiscing on my ancestors, on those ships who had to plead for life. Took us to a place where ain't never safe there. Poisoning our foods and put our children up in daycare. Fresh out of slavery, still thinking that they care. Guns in the community, children can't play there. Brothers still brainwashed, we died for that same cost. Took away our history, believing that we ain't lost. Brother, I'm an Israelite, sin is like kryptonite. Brothers won't pray, no, they'd rather link a chick tonight. Praises to the Most High, I ain't like most guys. Eyes on the future, but I learned from a boat ride. Tribe of Benjamin, inherited on both sides. Background Jamaica, mistreated and I know why. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Kwam Yasha Allah, sons of the power. Rise from the ghetto when Satan want us devoured. The seal of the Lord ain't found in church towers. Never dying on my knees like no coward. Wanna be an Israelite, you gon' need more than fringes. You gon' need to show you approve and get in them scriptures. Oh, I forgot to mention, traumatized from the lynching. Homicide, we the victim, Amistad ain't the ending. Kids with PTSD, suffering symptoms, never getting treatment, something he gotta sleep with. Stockholm syndrome so long, it ain't a secret. That's why I die for them brothers I'm facing east with. Cause I'm an Israelite, crackers better get it right. Visions of my enemies, death flow through my dreams at night. And if your mind ain't there, then we don't dream alike. Reporting live from hell, home of Christians and Edomites.
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
While they play the sidelines, comfortable on benches. Catch me on the front lines, putting work in trenches. Making sure our election, preparing for Armageddon. Mastering this profession of prophesying these lessons. Protecting our adolescents and answering all their questions. Teaching the love they reflection, no matter what the complexion. We got a common connection, a part of God's hand selection. A shot at the resurrection, through us achieving perfection. But to give life takes sacrifice. Battle demons every fight. Short days and long nights. Less sleep and more fights. More wisdom, more strife. Telling everybody that they wrong and you're right. I'm an Israelite, blood of an Israelite. I ride for my Israelites and die for my Israelites. We owe a debt cause Christ paid the price. So who ready to give their life the life of an Israelite?
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Clap it up. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We are located in Virginia, but we are worldwide. We are worldwide, and this is tonight's Lashawan Qadash class. Lashawan Qadash, which stands for the Holy Tongue. Stands for the Holy Tongue. This is where we come every Friday night. We come back to learn our heritage, our culture, by learning our language. Language is a powerful thing. Communication is powerful. Communication in itself is a very powerful thing, and it's one of the things that we have lost as a people is the ability to communicate with one another. We've lost the ability to communicate with one another effectively. And we've lost the ability to communicate with one another exclusively. We can't communicate exclusively because we talk in a slave's tongue that we were taught, and by doing that, it puts us at a disadvantage. It really puts us at a at a deficit when in comparison to our oppressor, in comparison to the other nations. That's one of the things, one of the tools, one of the protections that the other nations have is their language, is their ability to be able to communicate with one another and keep the oppressor out of their business, or keep Esau out of their business. And it's one of the things that we've lost over time. We lost over time. So I see we still have some people checking in. We got some people already in class. So I just want to start out by saying shalom to everybody. So shalom Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. I see Trooper Kazaki is already in the building. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Bagatha. I see Officer Matazah Karaz in the building. And shalom, Yahweh Shemal Atham Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, Sister Nazam in the building. And not without putting your business out there, sister, but I'm always watching classes and stuff, and I think I saw you in there. You be on it. I was watching the UK class earlier with Officer Rabban. I enjoy his class, and I normally check that out on Friday. So it's just good to see everybody in here. And we can't get enough of it. The language is one of the things that's the most difficult for me, just because it's so different from anything else that we have learned. It's so different from the English. Your English, your Spanish, all your other language are called your Romance language, because they're based off that Latin, that Rome, and so they all kind of share. They all kind of shared. I know they're right, sisters. Trying to get it in. That's that. When I be at the slave, if I can chime in and have something on in the background to where I'm killing two birds with one stone, I'm able to learn something. For me, it just makes the time go by that much faster, and I also feel like I'm being productive whenever I talk to people and I explain to them, this is my slavery. My real job is me being an Israelite. It's always kind of difficult for them to grasp that concept, but I definitely understand exactly what you're talking about. If I'm gonna be there, let me be there and be learning something at the same time. So the next time around, when they are employees, when they out there working, if we get there a little bit faster, we're better, we're more efficient at being masters, way more efficient than they ever were. So again, I applaud everybody for being here. This is a very important class, and we're gonna get started. Let me adjust this one thing. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. All right, Rib got it on fire here. I'm in here burning up. All right, we are back. I'm burning up, and it's not the strong Officer Matazah. I ain't got nothing to do with the strong. She just got it hot in here. All right, so we are back. We ready to go. We're going to start out with our alphabet. While we are starting out with the alphabet, you want to always make sure you're taking notes with this class. You want to make sure you have notes so you have something to go back off of, refer to. Again, it's not instantaneous. It takes a little work for this one. It takes work. It's going to take you being committed and dedicated to it. And you really got to apply yourself when it comes to this Hebrew. So you want to make sure that you're taking good notes. We only got a couple of people in class, but the ones that are in class, by all means, make sure you go ahead and put your tribe in there. If you know what tribe you're from, if you know what tribe you're from, you can hear me well. Go ahead and throw your tribe in the chat. I see all sometimes I said, go ahead and turn that heat down. Damn right. That's what I got up to go do. So we in there now. We in there now. If you know your tribe, go ahead and throw your tribe in. Like I know Officer Matazah Karaz, damn ribs will have you on fire. They have you on fire. Our sisters are special. Y'all can jump in the shower and it can be 2,000 degrees. Y'all jumping there with no problem. And then want to look back and laugh at the brothers, laugh at us. But that's a awesome thing. But it was a little warm up in here. But yeah, if you know your tribe, go ahead and throw your tribe in. I think from the last time we was in here, most of us are gonna come in checking in as Judites, And again, we do that not for tribalism or anything of that nature, but just so you know where you're from. just so you know where you're from. In the scriptures, it says that Christ was from the tribe of Judah. Look, Sister Nazama now right on it. She said, "My heat be up too." Exactly. So she could definitely relate. That you could definitely relate. I'm pretty sure off the brother being there burning up from time to time. Young men being there burning up too, and they know not to touch that damn heat. If they don't want no smoke, they know not to touch that doggone heat. So, but ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as I got access, I can turn it down when need be. I'm good to go. But yeah, so again, we don't promote tribalism. No one tribe is better than the other tribes. We are all one family. But it's important for us to know who's who and what's what. So a lot of us are Judah. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says that Judah is the lion's whelp. And we in 1969, a lot of the Judahites, a lot of the brothers that came out, you know what I'm saying, as far as getting that word back out, fell underneath that tribe. But a good majority of the tribes, when you're looking at the different tribes, Naphtali, Asher, which is Colombia, Naphtali, which is Argentina, Zebulon, which is Guatemala. When you're looking at the different tribes, Manasseh, Cubans, a lot of our tribes are going to fall into that South American, and those Spanish speaking, Hispanic, Latinos. So that's a good portion, a good core group of our tribe. So it's very important that we know who's who, know who your brothers and sisters is. When I was coming up, it's amazing how many people, brothers and sisters, Judites that I knew that had a gripe with Issachar, which is your Mexicans, had a gripe with Ephraim, which is your Puerto Ricans, and we all be in the same doggone neighborhoods, growing up together, same school system, dealing with the same police force, dealing with the same government, dealing with the same poverty, and yet still never making that connection and realizing that we are brothers and sisters. So it's very important that we know that. So again, we just put that in so you know when you are talking, and then you know. Like I said, the more power, the information is power. The information you got, more powerful you become in this truth. And that's gonna help to bridge the gap between our brothers and our sisters, and let them know who they are as well. All right. So we're gonna get started. First, we're gonna start out with our alphabet. The alphabet is gonna be the basis of any language that you study. Any language, for the most part, the basis is gonna be the alphabet. So we're gonna start with the alphabet. Our alphabet. Just like our language, just like our words, have multiple meanings or have a significance or have a meaning behind them too. So as we're going over the alphabet, we're going to go over what that word actually means as well. So definitely make sure you pay attention to the phonetics of the word a little bit later in class when we get to conjugating a couple of words. I think we're going to work on the word fight and the word eat. When we go to try to conjugate these words, you want to make sure you pay attention to the phonetics, because I'm going to ask that you type it out in the chat. I'm going to ask that you type it out phonetically, just so we can kind of make sure that we're all on the same page and everybody's participating. Now, you can also download, if you are watching on your phone, even on your laptop and so forth, you can actually download a Hebrew keyboard. That's a little bit more advanced, but it does help you to kind of study those characters. One thing for me, when I was trying to get the characters for the Assyrian down, that was one of the things that helped me. Because again, to me, I swear, no matter where I look, if I'm looking in the Blue Letter Bible compared to the Quick Bible, compared to something online, for me, that Assyrian always kind of switched up and changed and looked a little differently. So by having it right there on your keyboard, on your phone, again, like the sister was saying when she at work, she able to study a little bit, you're able to see it. And then, you know, the more you learn, the more acclimatized you get to the language. You got other brothers and sisters. You'll be able to send them a couple of messages in the Hebrew. You know what I mean? So that's a good that's a good tool to have. Also is by again downloading that keyboard on your phone, so you'll be able to you'll have it. And then when we're in class, you want to stunt on the rest of the people in the class. You know, you can type your answers in the Hebrew. Sometimes I'll be on Facebook and some of the brothers will write a whole message in the Assyrian, and I'm up there looking, and I gotta bust out my notes to figure out what the hell they just said. But over time, we're gonna all get better with it. We're gonna get stronger with it. And our goal in here, ISUPK Virginia. Our goal in here is try to get as fluent as Officer Uriah Moss. We trying to make sure when we get in Sabbath class and he reading those scriptures and we reading those scriptures, we can keep up with him. He be going, he like the sonic of the Lashawan Qadash. So again, we're gonna start out with the actual letters for the night. So let me go ahead and pull those up. All right, where we at? Okay, hold on. Let me open it up first. All right, so close that. Yeah, all right, I don't like it in the middle right there, so let me change that real quick. Nope, that made it worse. That's what we want. That's what we want right there. So you can see me, you can see the letters as well. All right, so now eventually we're gonna get to the point where when we're going through these, I'll be asking. I might start off with a lot. Or switch it up where, you know what I'm saying, you'll see some stuff missing. You may have Cal missing. You may have the ancient of the or the Assyrian missing, and we'll see if we can fill them in over time so we'll know all of them. But starting out, since it's one of our first couple of classes is actually going over the actual meanings behind the characters, we'll put it up all together. We're going to start with I. We're going to start with I. I stands for Alap, which is cattle or cow. Alap. Alap. I. And on the left, you have it in the ancient, and on the right, you have it there in the Assyrian. This character is a little bit more unique. It's a little bit more easier to identify. In the ancient, again, you can kind of see where they got the cattle from. You kind of see the head of the cattle in the character. And again, it's one of the ones that kind of stands out and looks a little. It's real distinct. It's a very distinct one, so it's a little bit easier to identify when you're reading it in the Assyrian. So we have I for Alap, or cattle or cow. All right, next we're gonna have Bayath, or tent, which is Ba. Ba, you have Ba on the left in your ancient, and then you have Ba on your right in the Assyrian, and that stands for Bayath, or tent. Bayath, or tent, or house, which is what we dwell and lived in. So Ba or Bayath, which means tent. Yeah, Ba on your left on the ancient, then Ba on your right in the Assyrian. Now that Ba is another one. When you're looking at that Assyrian, it can look a little different the way that they express it. Here it's a little bit more defined. It's a little bit more curved, but I've seen some where it does it's not as distinct as you will see on that Assyrian side in this particular form right here. So it's another one you want to kind of pay attention to. But you got Ba. Our next one is going to be Ga. You got Ga on your left in the ancient, and then you got Ga on your right in the Assyrian. And Ga stands for Gamar, or camel. Gamar, or camel, which is unlawful to eat, by the way. But I've seen some videos online of them heathens, if they can catch it, them heathens will eat it. If they can catch it, those heathens will eat it. But again, so Ga and Gamar, or camel, you got Ga in your left in the ancient, and you got Ga on the right in the Assyrian. It's so much. It's amazing when you look at different things. That's associated with the other nations. And not associated with us as it should be. We heard it, cattle and sheep. That was our livelihood. But now, through time, because we've lost our heritage in our culture, there's so many things that now we look and we attribute it to the other nations. We attribute to Arabs. We attribute to everybody else except for us. And it's part of that low self-esteem we have as a nation of people. As a nation of people, we don't see our value, we don't see our worth, and everything that's good and right is white, and it goes to the other nations, and everything that's wrong and dingy and demoralizing, we attribute to ourselves. But even in our language, even in our language and our letters and the characters, you see just how rich our heritage and our culture is and was and is. All right, so you got God on your left in the ancient, and God on your right in the Assyrian. Next is Da. Da. You will notice when we wear the Magan Dawada, the shield of David, Magan Dawada, you will see the Da. You will see the Da is just two Das upside down, then the Wa. As far as the you will see, you can make that up with the signature as well. So this is just the Magan Dawada, the shield of David. It's not the star of Molech, which they try to make up and say it's not a devil, it's not a devil worshiping or a satanic symbol. Everything has been stolen from us. So you will see a lot of misinformation online. You will get a lot of fake Israelite groups to give you a lot of misinformation. You get a lot of these Christian organizations give you a lot of fake information. But that da that you see stands for Dalath or door. You got a tent that will be the door of that particular tent right there. So Dalath or door, which is da, and again the Dawada, the shield that we wear. We don't worship a shield. We don't bow down to the shield. We don't kiss the shield. We don't worship the shield like the other nations worship their idols. So again, that's the Dawada, and that's what it stands from. That's what that stands for. You have Da on your left in the ancient. Then you have Da on your right in the Assyrian. And Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabarakatah. We got young man Jerry Young in the building, son of Officer Matabat, 5,000. Tuning in from the Noya. It's good to see you. We also Yahweh Shemalathan by Hashem Yahweh Shah. We also got Sister Raya in the building. Good to see her tonight. Rib of Officer Mataza Akara. So it's good to see y'all in here tonight. You didn't miss much. Y'all right on time. We just going over the alphabet now. All we did was ask some of the brothers and sisters to put their tribes in once they checked in. I think for the most part we're all Judah in here, but as time goes on and as we grow, again it's not about tribalism, one tribe being better than the other, but it's important that we all know who our brothers and sisters is. It's important to know who can come to the cookout and who can't. So we I had everybody put their tribe in there. Yahweh Shemalathan by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Aqua Anah is in the building. All right, and again, we are just going over the alphabet now. Again, we got y'all right on time. We just had y'all throwing your tribes in there. A lot of us come from Judah, which is the Negroes, but you got Benjamin, which is your West Indian. Your quote unquote your Jamaicans, you're different from the different islands and so forth. Benjamin, you got Levi, which is your Haitians. You got your Dominicans, which is Simeon. You got your Guatemalans, your Panamanians, which is Zabalawan or Zebulon. You got Ephraim, which is your Puerto Ricans. And if you know any of these if you know any of these brothers and sisters, you know they act just like us. We all act alike. We have some very similar characteristics to one another, and the only reason we don't know that we're brothers and sisters is because of what the other nation have, what the oppressor has taught us. You have the tribe of Gad, which is your Native Indians. You also have your tribe of Reuben, which is your Seminole Indians, your North American Indians. So many. I see a lot of those brothers and sisters. I got a couple of pages that I follow on TikTok. And they got a dance. It's just like the Dougie. What is it called? I'm gonna have to pull it up now. But they doing a Dougie, but they doing it Native Indian style kind of. You know what I'm saying? That when I pull that word, and I looked up that word, it actually stands for let's go. You know what I'm saying? Somebody. So again, we are so similar because we are brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has flavor like us. Yahweh Shema Lathan Bashim Yahweh Shad, Sister Coco in the building. The next letter or character is going to be ha, which is hana or behold. Ha, which is hana or behold. You also have the tribe of Asher, which is going to be your Colombians, all the way down to Uruguay, and that's South America. That's us. You got to realize they got on them slave ships first before us. When Columbus, that mass unaliver, one of your first famous, notorious serial unalivers. You know what I mean? I mean, like by the tunes of millions. He said he never put his sword down in his diary. He was a child sexual assaulter. That was his thing. And we're getting there. A lot of our family members, a lot of our brothers and sisters are getting ready to celebrate that monster. And what, next week or a couple weeks? It's coming up for Thanksgiving or whatever. But those are our brothers and sisters that got on those slaves. Salakia, they got on those slave ships first. You got Naphtali. Naphtali is going to be from Argentina to Chile. And you already know Issachar right here in lockstep with us right here in this land here. Issachar, which is going to be your Mexicans. Those are all our brothers and our sisters. So it's very important again that we know our tribes, we know our brothers and sisters tribes. So that when we relating and we talking to them, we can let them know who's who and what's what. And just like us, a lot of our brothers and sisters are into those different idols. And when you come into the South American Hispanic tribes, it's a saint this and the saint that, and the beads and the rosary beads and so forth. They sold them on idols just like they sold us on that idol. For us, for that main idol for us is going to be Caesar Borgia. For them, it's all the different saints. It's the Virgin Mary and so forth and so forth. So again, same trick, the different rules, you know what I'm saying, different boards or whatever, but the same trick are all across the board. Same trick for the children of the slave, for the children of the Most High, for the children of Israel. So ha on your left in the ancient, then ha on the right in the Assyrian, and ha stands for hana or behold. Next, you got Wa. Wa stands for fish hook. You got Wa. If you look at the character, it kind of looks like a fish hook. You got Wa in your ancient on the left. Then you got Wa and the Assyrian on the right. Now I went over. I just did Ha. Ha is one of those particular special Assyrian characters that kind of look like another character. That Ha can look like Ka. It can look like the Ka. That Ha can also look like the Tha in the Assyrian. The way that you know the difference, the way that I always kind of remember it, it was that break that's in the Ha, which kind of remind me of like the regular H that we have in the English. So that Ha, that's how it kind of stands out because of that break. But that Ha can look like the Ka, and it could also look like the Tha. Now your Wa, when you look at that Wa in the Assyrian, that Wa can kind of similar look like kind of some of your other characters. The main difference with that Wa and the Ya, that Ya is very short. That Ya somewhat in some script, it'll look like almost like an apostrophe. It's so short. So that Ya is a lot shorter. It's going to be a lot higher. That Wa is going to be more extended. It's going to be extended. And you're going to see a lot of that at the beginning when we get ready to go over the prefixes. That Wa is and. So you know, and with that, you will see a lot of that in the scriptures. And he, and they, and you know, and so forth. So you will see that Wa in front of a lot of different script when you're actually reading the scriptures. So that's one that you will see quite often, and it's very easy to get that confused or mixed up with that Ya. But again, that Ya is going to be very short. That wa is going to be a little bit longer, taking up the, if we had the grammar background with the two solid lines, the dotted line in the middle, it would take up that entire area right there, going from top to bottom. So that's going to be your wa in the Assyrian. All right. Next one up is going to be your za. Your za. Now the ancient, you know, it looks just like the Z. It's the exact same thing as the Z in the English. In the ancient, you have some fake Israelite groups. You got some Christian organization that swore up and down that Yiddish, that the imposter speaks is the real language, that Yiddish or the Assyrian. And again, you can kind of tell where the original started at. And how they derived a lot of the letters that you will see in the Latin, or a lot of the letters you will see in the languages that they speak now. So that za, you have that za on the left in the ancient, and then you have that za in the Assyrian on your right. And za stands for Zion, or weapon. This is one of the first letters that I learned because it was weapon. It stands for Zion. One of our generals is Alawap. Alawap means general, but Alawap Hazayan. Hazayan meaning ha, that prefix, the weapon. Hazayan. And one of these days in classes, we're going to go through that. One of these days in classes, we'll go through what the different generals' names mean, what they mean. So you got ha Hazayan, or Zayan meaning weapon. The language itself is a weapon. The language itself is a tool. It's a weapon. It's a defense. It's a weapon by you knowing your language, by you learning your language. And this is again the importance of the Hebrew over time, because we married the other nations, the other women of the other nations. We lost little by little here and there. We lost it because we were married to women of the other nations. We taught the children the customs and the cultures and the heritage of their mothers. And slowly but time, so they knew a little bit of Hebrew, they knew a little bit of Korean, or a little bit of Hebrew, a little bit of the Arabic tongue, and so forth and so forth. And over time, we end up losing. We end up losing the Hebrew. We end up losing our heritage and our culture, which is which is always going to happen, which is why the Lord told us not to do that to begin with. We are unholy, a separate people. You can't be holy, you can't be separate if you're part of everybody else, if you're doing what everybody else is doing, if you're blending with everybody else. The lie or the misconception about diversity. You'll hear that so much here in the Western Hemisphere. You hear that so much in American diversity. But the trick, the lie, the whole catch-22 with diversity, if everything is diverse, over time, you lose anything that's specific to a certain race, because it's all diverse and it's all mixed and it's all blended. Doesn't make sense. A lot of the stuff with the oppressor doesn't make sense. A lot of the things with Esau doesn't make sense. Over time, we diminish and we devalue our heritage and our culture. And so we make things that make no sense whatsoever. We uphold those, and we put them to a higher standard than what they really need to be. So Za, which is Zion, or weapon. All right, next you got Ka. This is another one. If you're looking at Assyrian, you got Ka and your Assyrian on the right. You got Ka on the left in the ancient. And when you're saying that character, you're saying that letter Ka, it's almost kind of like you're coughing a little bit in the back of your throat. You should kind of feel it when you say it. Ka. You should kind of feel it now. I'm overdoing it right now, but just so you can kind of get the idea, you should kind of feel that it's not Ka. It's not Ka, it's Ka. And Ka stands for Kawama, which is fence. And if you look at the character, it kind of looks like a fence. So Ka, or Kawama, meaning fence. You got Ka on your left, and you got Ka on your right. But in that Assyrian, that's one of the ones that I told you that looks very similar to the Ha. The only thing that's really different between that and the Ha is that it's going to be a separation in that first little leg right there. It's going to be a separation between that first leg and that top character right there. So that's how you can identify the ha and the ka, ha and ka. But this is going to be your ka. Like Trooper Kazakia or Captain Kataza. All right. All right. Next up is going to be Ta. You have Ta in your left in the ancient, and you have Ta on your right in the Assyrian. Now, in the beginning, I don't know why, because when I look at them now, they look totally different. But that Ta and that Pa in the Assyrian used to throw me off a little bit. But that Ta in the Assyrian, if you look at it, kind of looks almost like a little bit of T on the left-hand side, and then it's got a very, very long tail on it when it comes to the right. But you got that Ta. You have Ta in the Assyrian on your right, and Ta in the ancient on your left. And Ta stands for Tanah, which is basket, your basket or store, how you gather things, Tanah or basket. All right. Now, after Ta, we have Ya. This is another one that you will see quite often. Ya, because Ya is a prefix meaning he, which we'll go over after we finish the alphabet. So you'll see your words like Ya, your characters like Ya or Wa. You'll see those because those are your prefixes. So you'll see a lot of those in the front of the different scriptures. You'll see Ya, you'll see La, you'll see Sha or Ma, because again they have a different meaning. They have a multiple another meaning outside of just their regular pronunciation of the character of it. So you will see that in there. You'll see Ya, you'll see matter of fact, one of the ones that we always in our greeting we'll say Yahweh Ba Hashem, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning the, Sham name, in the name. Same thing when we're saying a greeting for the sisters. It's Yahweh, Shema, Alathan, Ba Hashem. Again, so in the name of Yahweh Shah, in the name of Christ. So again, you'll see those characters a little bit more so than the other ones, just because they're a prefix as well as being a word. So you again, just to kind of point that out. Now again, with that Yah, you will see that Yah and that Wa together a lot, but that Yah is going to always be a lot shorter. That Yah, you'll see it in Assyrian on the right-hand side is going to be a lot shorter. Very distinctive. It stands out in the ancient. Can somewhat look a little bit similar to the Taza. But it is gonna it is different. It is different, and you will see that again quite often in the scriptures, especially with Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High. So you will see that quite often in the scriptures. You will see that Yah. So you have Yah on your left in the ancient, and you have Yah on your right in the Assyrian, and Yah stands for Yad, or hand. Yah stands for Yad or hand. All right. Next up is going to be Ka. Now, again, this one, they don't look the same. It doesn't look anything like the Ka that we went over earlier, but it kind of sounds similar. It sounds the same. So when you're saying Ka, like we went over earlier, you want to make sure you kind of scratch the back of your throat when you're saying it. But Ka, you don't. It's very similar to the K or Ka sound that we have in the English. You have Ka on your left in the ancient, and then you have Ka on your right in the Assyrian. And if you're looking at those two right there on the top, they look very, very, very similar. The only difference between the Assyrian and the ancient really is the accent right there in the middle of that Ka in the ancient. Outside of that, they're very similar. It's almost like a backwards C, which is just like our C sound, Ka. So Ka was a little bit easier for me to kind of retain or hold on to or remember. Now, Ka is when you get to one of your first characters that's going to switch up and change when you get to the end of a word. When you get to the end of a word, that Ka, that character in the Assyrian, is not going to be the same. And if you look at, matter of fact, let me scroll over a little bit in the diagram. When you look at that one, when you get to the end of the word where you see that red arrow at, that's what you would have at the end of that word if it ends in Ka at the end. So instead of the character you have at the top, you would have that character that you have at the bottom. That character at the bottom can look very, very similar to the Da in the Assyrian. It can also look very, very similar to the Na, which you have in the Assyrian. And it can also look very similar to the Ra that you have in the Assyrian. So what you will notice is different about it. It's going to be a little bit more elongated and perpendicular. It's going to give you an actual corner. It's going to give you an actual corner. It's not going to be rounded at the back of it in comparison with the Ra. It's going to be longer at the top and longer at the bottom in comparison with the Da. And with the Na is going to actually be shorter there at the top as well. So that's how you can kind of tell the difference of those. But again, that's one of those ones where you want to kind of really be kind of paying attention to, because they can throw you off. It can mix you up a little bit, because that Ka at the end can look just like that Na. It can look just like that Da, and it can look just like that Ra. So again, this is why, again, the scriptures say to study to show thyself approved. Study to show thyself approved. This is going to become so important. I was having a conversation the other day, and I was talking to a brother, you know what I'm saying? And he was saying, well, why do we go over the Hebrew? And like I was telling him, you think about it. That's our original tongue. That's what we always taught. That's our language. You really think when Christ come back, he's going to come back and we're going to be speaking in English, or we're going to be speaking in Spanish. We're going to be speaking in the same language of the same kingdoms and nations that he's coming to overthrow. Christ is coming back to overthrow those kingdoms and relinquish their power, take their power for his own. You really think that we're going to still utilize their language and utilize their ways? Nah, of course not. Of course not. But this is why, it's important for us to know our own language. For us to know our own language. I said the Bible says to rehearse the acts, and this is all part of rehearsing the acts. So this is a very, very, again, important class. It can be very difficult unless this is one of your gifts. Now, some of the brothers, this is part of their gifts. You know, we all got different gifts. Some of the brothers, this is their gift, so they can do this. Not to say that they don't work at it, but you might have to work a little bit harder, and that's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So when you spare time, you want to pull this up. You want to go over it. What you will notice, the more and more you do it. I had a brother talk to me the other day. I won't say no names, but he's studying hard, and he was saying that he dreaming. He's trying to talk to the ribs in the dream, and he talking in that language. And I just told him that's just a component of you. You know, when you study and you going over something and you really trying to drill down on it, you'll dream about it. You know what I mean? It'll be in your dreams, it'll be in your subconscious and so forth. And all that is that's a good sign. That's a good sign. So again, it requires a little bit of more effort for the Hebrew. But this class is a very, very, very important class. This is one of the first signs that we were losing our heritage and losing our culture. It's one of the first signs of it, and we didn't realize it. All right, so let's go to the next character. Next character is going to be La. La. You have La in your ancient on the left, which looks just like the L in English. And then you have La in the Assyrian, which really kind of looks like the L also in the English as well. Just a very, very long tail at the bottom of it. So this character wasn't that hard for me to kind of hold on to. However, depending on if you're looking at somebody who's actually writing this versus their handwriting versus the actual script versus where you're looking at that script at, it can look a little different. So it's very important that you learn the mechanics of it. You know what I'm saying? The La in the ancient and in the Assyrian. And La stands for lamad or learn, which is another reason why it was a little bit easier for me to hold on and stay and retain it, because again, the L in lamad, the L in learn. So La stands for lamad or learn. We are all learning the Hebrew right now. We are all learning that language right now. So we're gonna do a little conjugation a little later on. We're gonna do a little conjugation. But if I was saying that I am learning, I would say Anya Lamad. I think I got that right. Anya Lamad. And by all means, Officer Matazar Karav, if I say anything that's not correct, you make sure you jump on there, you correct it fast. But yeah, you would say Anya Lamad. I am learning. Well, no, that would be I learn. I think I am learning. Present tense would be Anya Lawamad, if I'm not mistaken. We'll look at it. I think that's Lawamad because you want to stick that one up when it's present tense. But Lamad means learn. Lamad means to learn. All right, next up is going to be Ma. Ma stands for Mayam. Mayam, or water. You have Ma in your left in the ancient. Then you have Ma in the Assyrian on the right. And Ma is another character that's going to switch up if you're at the end of a word. If you're at the end of a word. Yeah, right. Ayanda, I see you there. Appreciate you. But a Ma is going to switch up when it gets to the end of a word. Now, the way that I kind of remember this one, for the end of that Ma, if you're in the Assyrian and you're at the end of a word and it ends with Ma, it closed up. For me, I remember that by being final. It closed up, the finale and so forth. So that's how I kind of remember that the Ma at the end was closed. The Ma at the beginning was open. So when you have at the beginning of a word, that Ma is going to be open. At the end of it, it's going to be a little bit more box shape. It's a little bit more box shape. It's not as round, and it's also closed on the end and open at the beginning. Now, in the ancient, it's like they wrote an upside down M, and then you got your hook on the end. So that's how it was kind of easier to remember that Ma. When we get to the next character, Na, it's almost like you got a little N right here, then a curve. But this is how I remember the Ma and the Na. And Ma stands for Mayam. Mayam, or water. Mayam, or water. You'll see Mayam, or you'll see that water in the scriptures when it's referring to the baptism. You'll see that as far as again, that everlasting Mayam. And this scripture, this truth, this word, that's that everlasting Mayam that you don't that won't run out. You can drink all the water out the faucet. Well, I wouldn't drink no water out the faucet nowadays, but you can drink that bottled water, whatever water, and eventually you're gonna thirst again. But this truth, this word, this everlasting water, once you get this knowledge, you learn this Hebrew, you get this knowledge. That's that water that replenishes itself. Not only will it replenish you, it'll give your other brothers and sisters, it'll quench their thirst as well. So it's very, very important that you get this water. You can buy water from the store. It's going to run out eventually. This water right here, as long as you studying to show thyself approved, it's not going to run out. It's not going to run out on you, and you're not going to keep being thirsty off this water right here. It's going to give you something you can live off of for the rest of your life, and you can share with everybody else. You can share with the rest of your brothers and your sisters. So Ma is Mayam. All right, we're going to go to the next character. The next character is going to be Na. You have Na on your left in the ancient, and you have Na on your right in the Assyrian. Now, Na stands for Na one, or sprout, right? And just like I was telling you before with that ma, with that na, it's almost kind of like a lowercase upside down N with your curve. So your ma is like an upside down M, your na is like an upside down N with your curve, either upside down or backwards, however you see it, however you kind of process that with your brain. But that's how you can kind of spot that na and that ma. Now that na also is another one that's going to have different characters depending on if you're at the beginning of a word or at the end of a word. Now there's na is almost like a chameleon. Now that damn na can be like a chameleon. It can be very difficult to spot and point out. What you're going to notice is that na. I know I was talking with brother earlier this week. That na, depending on if it's handwritten, it can damn near look like a 3. It can look like a 3. It can look like a little very short C. It's going to look very similar to that ka symbol, but it's going to be shorter. It's going to be shorter at the top and shorter at the bottom. It could also look like a ba, but you shouldn't see the tail on the end of it to indicate that it's not ba. And again, it should be a little bit shorter as far as the top accent and that bottom accent. And this is going to be the na that you see at the beginning of a word, na. But again, it can be one that looks a little like the rest of some of the other characters. Also, that na can look very similar to what? That da. It also can look very similar to the ka. Remember, we saw ka at the end of a character and it changed. And that ka at the end of a character looks very, very similar to the na. What you're going to see that's different is going to be a lot shorter here at the top. And it's also going to have maybe a little bit of a curve right there at the top of it. It's not going to be straight like that ka. So this is how you can indicate that ka from the na. Now the ra is going to be curved when you get to the back of it. It's going to be more elongated, and it's also going to be shorter. It's going to be shorter. If we were looking at this on a grammar scale, this would actually extend below that last bottom line. So dotted line, bottom line, this would actually extend above that bottom line right there. So it's a little bit longer at the bottom. So it's going to be shorter and longer and more boxed in the corner. That's how you can kind of identify and point it out. But again, this is one of the main reasons why when it comes to that Assyrian, you got to study. You have to read it. The more you study, the more you read it, the more it'll pop out to you, and you will be able to identify it fairly quickly. But that na is an old chameleon. That na can look like several or a couple of different other characters it can look like. So na, you have na in your Assyrian, then you have na at the end. I want to say in the Yiddish they call these kaf at the end. So this is going to be your na at the end, and then you have na in your ancient on your left hand side. And na stands for na one or sprout. All right, next up is going to be sa. It's going to be sa. Now sa, you got sa in your ancient on the left, and then you have sa in your Assyrian on the right. I would always get the sa mixed up with I in the Hebrew. Sa is the only one that kind of looks like it does in the Assyrian. Maybe kind of sort of the ma, if it's handwritten, can look like this. If it's the ma at the end because it's closed, but for the most part, that sa is going to look pretty unique in the Assyrian. And you shouldn't, the only other character that looks anything close to it again is going to be that ma. But this is sa, which stands for samak or establish, which is why if you think about establish in your ancient, that symbol you see right there in the ancient is like a staff, that's to establish. So you have sa in your ancient on the left, and sa in the Assyrian on the right. And we getting close to the end. We getting there. All right, next up is I or ayan. Ayan meaning I, and this is how I actually learned this one. If you look at that ancient, the character in the ancient, it looks like the circle, the oval of the eye, like the eye socket, eye. Now your Assyrian is going to look very similar to the Shah character. The Shah character looks very similar, looks just like a W. So you will see in this one, it's like a Y. However, this is I. This is I. I in the Assyrian on your right, I in your ancient on the left, which is circular or oval shape like an eye socket. And that stands for Ayan or I. Ayan or I. All right, we're doing a lot better on time this week than we did last time I was up in here. So we moving along. We're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well. If at any time you have any questions, by all means, always make sure you type those in. Make sure you're taking good notes when it comes to the Lashawan Qadash, which is the holy tongue. And this is I, which is Ayan. And the next letter or character up is going to be Pa. Pa. Pa stands for mouth. If you were looking or drawing like the characters, you can kind of see how like that would be the mouth. So Pa stands for mouth. You have Pa in your ancient, and then you have Pa in your Assyrian. So I don't know if you remember, I told you earlier that and that Pa used to throw me off a little bit. But when I look now, as I've gotten a little bit better with it, it's a little bit easier to identify. The Pa that goes at the end is very similar to the Pa that goes at the beginning, which the only difference is that the Pa at the beginning is curved. It's curved. It's more elongated. Almost looks like an upside down G. That Pa at the end looks more like a P backwards. It's just not connected at the top, and it's straight. It's not curved at the bottom. So you have Pa at the top, which you will use at the beginning of a word, and then you have Pa at the bottom, which you will use at the end of a word. All right. And Pa stands for mouth. All right. The next one is going to be Tazah. Tazah. Like Officer Mataza Kara. Mataza. I'm Salaki. Officer Mataza Kara. Tazah. You have Tazah on your left, and then you got Tazah on your right. Now that Tazah in the Assyrian is somewhat unique, but it can throw you off a little bit for that Yah, just a little bit for that Yah in the ancient. But once you kind of look at it, it does look different. You can kind of tell the difference. But you have and it looks very, very similar to the one that's used at the end and the one that's used at the beginning, but very similar to like that Pa. Is going to be curved in the front if it's at the beginning of a word, and it's going to be straight. It's going to be straight down if it's at the end of the word in Assyrian. So you have Tazah in the left in your ancient, and then you have Tazah on the right in the Assyrian, and at the bottom you have Tazah, which would go at the end of a word. And Tazah is Tazad, or side. This is where we get the word side from. Tazah means side. Tazah means side. All right, Officer Mataza Karas says that Tazah used to get confused with the Assyrian. Exactly. I was just thinking about that because that I looks like a Y. It looks just like a Y. So it definitely can throw you off in the Assyrian in the Syrian, if it's in the beginning, that tazah. So again, it just a lot of it just comes with practice and just kind of going over it. When it's handwritten, it can really throw you off when it's handwritten because everybody kind of writes a little bit different. But the different script that you will see, the more and more you go over it, eventually you will be able to identify each individual one. It's just certain characters. Again, certain characters are going to require a little bit more attention to detail, just because they can look very similar to the other characters. The ancient, everything kind of stands out on its own in the ancient, and the ancient, it makes sense. The pronunciation makes sense. The characters, what the words mean for it makes sense. The dialect makes sense. But when it gets to the Assyrian, again, it can kind of blend and look like some of the other ones. But that's why we practice. One of the things that I like to do when I'm getting up and I'm going over my prayers and so forth, which you should be going over your prayers and so forth. I try to look at the phonetics of it. I'm looking at it in the Assyrian, and then I'm matching it up with the ancient as well, because the ancient, again, I know what tazah looks like. So if I get a little mixed up on the Y's and the Yahs by looking at it in the ancient versus the Assyrian, that's a Y. I know what a Y is in it. You know what I'm saying? I know exactly what a Y is in the ancient. So no, that's a Y. Nope, that's a Yah. I know what a Yah is in the ancient. That's Fishhook. I know what it is in the ancient. So now, so over time, again, it'll stick. It makes more sense. I still struggle with it a little bit. Again, I'm in no ways whatsoever. Again, my goal is to get like Officer Yerashima. That's my goal. Officer Yerashima, he reads it like when you trying to listen and you trying to pick up on what Issachar's saying at the job site, and they be going so fast, and you might get one or two words in. That's how Officer Matazah. That's how Officer Yerashima be reading. You might pick up on one. So my goal is to get like that, so I can identify exactly what he's saying. But it takes time. And again, it's just because we were taught something so different over here. America is one of the last few places, if not the last damn place on earth, that still uses a quote unquote standard system versus a metric system. The rest of the world use metric. I learned that on the slavery because it tripped me out. Matter of fact, even before the slavery, in Esau's military, a lot of some of the stuff in the it'd be in metrics. And if a little secret, if you didn't know, Esau's military has a whole bunch of different other nations inside there. So if you ever worked on a base, if you ever was on it, you'll see a whole bunch of foreign nationals. You'll see a whole bunch of Palestinians and Iranians and all the people that they claim that they had war with and they fighting with. You'll see them getting that good same military education that you're getting. Only thing is they're not suffering none of the oppression that you are suffering. This is a little side note there. But it was certain things when you would get to certain classes where they were familiar with it, they would read it, they would know it, they're reading in meters and so forth, and we own centimeters and yards, and again, it's because America kind of do its own thing, and it's the same thing when it comes to language and everything else. This is a very arrogant nation. So in their opinion, the rest of the world can catch up to them, even though the rest of the world is doing something totally different. It's the same thing when it comes to that English. So you'll hear like some of your Arabic tongues and so forth. That's a lot closer to our Hebrew than it is to what they actually doggone speak over here. So it takes a little practice. It definitely takes a little practice. All right, the next one is going to be Kwa. It's going to be Kwa. And Kwa stands for Quam or rise. Quam or rise. You have Kwa in your ancient on your left, and then you have Kwa in the Assyrian on the right. Y'all write that down. Now it's getting too damn chilly. One second. All right, we back. I think that's why Eve be jumping on the thermostat like they do. They can ride it out. I'll be up and down. It'd be too hot, too cold. Goldilocks in here. Goldilocks, but we good now. Got it where I want it. Now it's off. It's be off for a little bit. So we at Qua, which is Quam, which is rise. Now y'all have probably heard us use Quam. So who's heard us? Who's heard that word before? That's another one that you will kind of hear, if not as much in the scriptures when we're reading it. If you in any of our classes, if you at any of at the Passover, any events, if you in the midst of some of some rules, especially the ISUPK, you're gonna hear that Quam. Who can tell me where they've heard that from? What phrase is that you hear that pretty often with us? Who knows? Sister Nazama Nai is on it, and she is absolutely correct. Kwam Yasha Allah. Kwam Yasha Allah. When we saying rise Israel, wake up Israel, rise Israel. So you will hear that quite often. You'll hear that quite often with us, that Kwam Yasha Allah, that war cry. Officer Mataza as well, he's correct. That Kwam Yasha Allah. Kwam Yasha Allah. That's a good one to use if you got little folks in the house or younger folks in the house. You want to wake them up for school or work or whatever. Kwame Yashala, because it gets you crunk when you hear it. You know what I'm saying? I love it when we together. One of the generals or whoever in charge to throw that out. If you want to get us ready to roll, that's an old get you ready to roll cry right there. Good old war cry. Kwame Yashala. You'll hear that term woke and all that other mess out in the world, and they just as asleep as they can get to be. But it's an amazing thing when we actually start to wake up and realize who we are. It's an amazing thing we wake up and realize who we are. We become an unstoppable force. And that's the goal. All right, what else we got? All right, so we got Qua. Next one up is going to be Ra. You have Ra in your ancient on your right, on your left, and you have Ra in the Assyrian. So now again, the Ra is one of those ones again that can look very similar to the Da. It can look very similar to the Da in the Assyrian. What you'll notice though, it's not going to be as long, just as long, but not as long on that top portion. Also, it's going to be more square. It's going to be more square at the bottom of it. I mean, at that back corner right there. You're going to have a 90-degree angle right there at that back corner. But it's not going to be rounded like you see right here in the Ra. It looks also very similar to the Ka at the end. It also looks very similar to the Na, which is used at the end. The Na is going to be much shorter. The Na is going to be longer. The Da is going to be pointed pointed or cornered at the end of it, and not as long. And I think they're about the same lengthwise, as far as how long they are. On that back side. But that Ra, that Da, that Na, and that Ka at the end can all look the same. Especially if you got a tendency like me to read fast. If you got a tendency to read fast, you might want to slow it down a little bit when it comes to that Assyrian. Again, that Assyrian requires a little bit more attention to detail. Ra, which is Ra'ash. Ra'ash stands for head. Ra'ash stands for head. If you know anything about the scripture, when it talks about the head of man is Yahushua, which is Yahushua, who the world calls Christ. The head of Christ is the Most High. The head of the woman is the man. The head of the woman is the child, and so forth. And that's the order. That's the order that the Most High gave us. So Ra'ash is head. All right. We right at the end now. We about done. Next up is going to be Shah, or and this is the one that can look just like that I in the Assyrian. That it can kind of throw you off a little bit with the Tazah in the Assyrian, but it's both going to be it's going to look very similar to the W. Look very similar to that W that we have in the English, and that's going to be your Shah. That's going to be your Shah. So you have Shah, not to be confused with Sa, not to be confused with Sa, but this is Shah. Shah on your left in the ancient, and then Shah on your right in the Assyrian. And Shah is Shan or tooth. And I definitely can see how that can be some teeth. In Esau's wicked holidays, if you ever were in the world and you was cutting them damn jack-o'-lanterns, that's exactly how you would cut out them teeth, by cutting a whole bunch of shaws and rounding them up, and you poke it out, and you end up, then that's how you would make the teeth. So that's how I remember Shah. That's how I remember that Shah was Shan or tooth. So you have Shah on your left on the ancient, then you have Shah on your right in the Assyrian. All right. All right. Next up, which is the last one, is going to be Tha. Tha. Tha's, and you have Tha on your left in the ancient, and you have Tha on your right in the Assyrian. Now, Tha is like probably one of the only characters that I could get somewhat confused with when it came to the ancient, because Tha is just like Ta in the ancient, but the difference being in the ancient, it has a circle around it, and in Tha in the ancient, it's just like that. It's just like almost like a cross or a lowercase t. Tha, the way that I remembered it, I always remembered my grandparents and how they would when it came to sign and stuff, they would say they would sign their mark. They would sign their mark. Tha means mark. Tha means mark. And that's how them older folks, especially the slaves, when it came to the slaves that for the most part couldn't read or write what the slave master had taught them their name, but they can sign that X. They can sign that X. And so that's how we remember that word Tha, or remember that character Tha. Now the Tha in the Assyrian could look very similar to that first one we were talking about, which is the Ha. Difference between that and the Ha, you're not going to have that break. It's connected. Now that Tha can still look very similar to Ka. The difference between the Ka, which again you want to kind of scratch your throat when you're saying it, is if you look at the back, it's a little bit more rounded when it comes to the back. Some people, when they're just writing it, it actually overlap. But so it's going to be rounded towards the back, and it's also going to be a little rounded towards the front. It's going to be a little bit more defined and curved when it gets to the top and the bottom of this left-hand side right here. So for me, I always remember that Tha as being more fancy than the Ha or the Ka. That's how I remember that. I remember that. That's the fancy one to me. For me, that was the one that was a little bit more fancy. And that's going to be your Tha. And with that, that's going to be all of our alphabet. That's going to be all the alphabet. That's going to be, again, and that's going to be the foundation of the base for all the words and as far as words, then the sentences, and then the pronunciation and so forth. It all starts with that alphabet. Now, next we're going to go over a couple of prefixes. We're going to go over, not a couple, but we're going to go over the prefixes. Then I also want to go over the prefixes and pronouns, is it? Oh, the adjectives. I want to go over the prefixes and the adjectives. Reason being, that's how we're going to actually conjugate a couple of words. And the two words that I wanted us to kind of focus on tonight was going to be fight. What did I wrote down? I wrote down fight, and I wrote down eat. Now, I was hoping to see Trooper Call in here, and he'll know why when I said eat. Trooper Call's name is a call sapar, which means to devour the scrolls. I remember when he got his name, to devour the scrolls, and that's like eat or a call. So we're gonna go over a call, and then we're gonna go over a fight. fight meaning fight being lakam. We're gonna go over both of those a little bit later on. But before we get to those, we're gonna go over some prefixes and some adjectives, just so we'll kind of know we have that in mind. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna go over those two words. I'm gonna put them on the screen what they are in the Hebrew and in the Assyrian, and then I'm gonna have y'all kind of tell me how we would say them, present tense, future tense, in the pronunciation wise, and then we'll go from there. Now, that's a whole bunch I put on there, right? We're gonna try to get to all of that. All right. So the first thing we need to do is pull up again some prefixes and some adjectives. So let's go with is it this one I want? I think this is the one I want. All right, I don't want it right there. I want to move that over. Nope. Yep, here we go. All right, so I can see it, but I can't see it here. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is go over some of our pronouns, right? Is that what I got up on the screen? Because I can't really see the screen I got up there with you. Some of our prefixes, right? All right, so you'll see some of the same characters that we just went over. That's why I say some of the characters you will see quite often. You will see them quite often, reason being they have multiple meanings or whatever. So, for example, you have 2 or 4, which is la. So 2 or 4 is the same as la. So when you see those in the front, your prepositions are going to go in the front. So when you see those in the front of a word, that's that. If you see that la in the front, that's going to be 2. All right, 2 or 4 is going to be la. Same thing if you see ka. If you see ka in the front, that's going to be a preposition that's going to mean like or as. Like or as. It's going to be ka. And you'll notice the ka that I put there, ka is one of the ones that has a different word or different character if it's at the end of the word. Prepositions are going to fall in the front of that word. So you will see the one that looks very similar to the ancient, minus the character or minus the accent in the middle, and that's going to be ka. Ka. You also have who, which, cause, or sake, and that's going to be sha. Sha. The character or the letter for sha is going to mean who, which, cause, or sake. Now, if I need to put up these pages individually as far as notes, if you screenshot and are taking any notes, just let me know, and I can zoom in and filter them down so it's just those by themselves. Just let me know. We can do that. That's an easy thing, easy fix, no sweat. I just put it on this page so we can kind of see them all together, knock them all out, and then move on to the next ones. But by any and all means, if y'all need me to filter down or zoom in and make it just one character, so forth, just let me know as far as your notes. Now, you also have ma. You'll see ma in the front. When you see ma in the front, that's going to mean from. You'll notice that ma in the Assyrian on the right is going to be open. Again, because that's the ma that's at the front of a word. The ma that's at the end is going to be closed in a little bit more box shape. So ma means from. You also see where it says he. He is Yah. And these are prepositions right here. Again, you will get a lot of to or like or who or from or he did, and you'll get a lot of that in the scriptures when you're reading the scriptures. So these are characters that you definitely want to kind of know, because you will see them quite often. You will see those within a name or within a word. You'll see those before a name or before a word and so forth. So these are the ones that you will see somewhat often when you're reading and going through those scriptures. So Yah means he. The Yah is very, you'll see that Yah and Wah together all the time. They be Yah and Wah together like they're best friends or something. So you'll see them quite often through the scriptures. So that Yah is always gonna be a little bit shorter, look more like almost kind of like an apostrophe. And that Wah is gonna be longer. So you have Yah and you have He, and these again are always gonna be at the beginning of the word. You also have Ba, which is in. Now, this is one of the ones that we spoke about when I was said Ba Hashem. Ba, which is in. If you look at the bottom, you will see the, so which is Ha. So Ba Hashem, in the name of Yahweh Shah. You'll see that Ba Hashem, and again, these are going to be at the front. So Ba is going to mean in. Now to do is Da. It's going to be the character Da, just like my shield. So Da wa Da. You'll see that Da in the beginning. Da is to do. Another one that you will see again quite often is going to be that Wa and He and in. You'll see that and quite often. That's going to be that Wa. Now that Wa again is going to be a lot longer. It looks very similar to the Ra, but it's going to be shorter. Looks very similar to the Da, but it's curved. So again, this is how you can kind of identify that Wa. This is how you can identify that Wa versus the other characters, and you will see that quite often at the beginning. That Wa stands out in the Hebrew. In the ancient, you can point it out in the ancient. In the Assyrian, again, it's going to blend, merge, look like some of the other characters, but that's going to be your Wa, which is and. And again, these are going to be prepositions which are going to be found in the beginning. Last one is going to be the, which is Ha. Ha, again, is another one that you're going to see quite often. I haven't did a Google search to see which character pops up the most in the Bible. Maybe I'll do that for a little Bible, for a little Lashawan Qadash trivia the next class and see which ones you will see the most. I got a strong feeling it's going to be in between that Ha, that Wa, and that damn Ba. I think it's going to be in between those. I'm thinking Ha, but again, you will see that there are quite a bit in the scriptures is going to be that Ha. Now, these are all prepositions. Again, your La, your Ka, your Sha, your Ma, your Ya, your Ba, the Da, the Wa, and the Ha, and you'll always see those at the beginning of a word. All right. All right, we're going to stop that one. Now we're going to get to the adjectives, which are going to be at the end of a word. We're going to get to the adjectives. It's going to be at the end of a word. All right. I'm going to act funny. Okay, hold on. I got you. I'm a little bit more prepared than last time. Now, these are also called adjectives. I also have them listed as possessive pronouns. Right, is that right? Yep. I also have them listed as pronouns. So let me click that. We're going to go present. And we are cooking with Crisco. All right, there we go. Came up on the right side of the screen. And these are going to be your different adjectives or pronouns. You will find these at the end of a word. So without me having it right in front of me, I want to say the word for car is makarab. I think it's makarab, if I remember Officer Yarash correct. So if I was saying my car, it would be makarab ya. Because you'll put that ya at the end of a word. So ya means my. Ya means my. I got some words in here. I could know for sure. I got some doggone words in here. Get some in here. Okay, that's a good one. Shit, that might be the word we should have went off of. when I be talking about these imposters. The word for identity is dama. That's the word for identity. I didn't know that. Dama is the word for identity. So if I was saying my identity, it would be damaya. Damaya. If I was saying your identity, it would be damaka. Ka, because ka at the end of a word means your. And you will notice that ka that we have right there, that ka that we have is not the one that looks very similar to the ancient. It's the one that looks very similar to the da, very similar to the ra, very similar to the na, and very similar to the damn wa. So again, that's just gonna be your ka. It's gonna be a little bit shorter. It's gonna be shorter than your ra. It's gonna be longer than your ra. It's gonna be more curved, unlike your da at the back. But it's gonna be longer than your na, and it's gonna be longer than your wa. That's how you can kind of figure out which one is which. Again, it takes a little practice, but at the end of a word, you see this character at the end of a word, that's gonna be your. We just learned that the word for identity is dama. So if I was saying your identity, would be damaka. Damaka. All right. Then you have his, which is wa. So if you have that wa at the end of a word, if you have that wa, that adjective at the end of the word, if I was saying his identity, if somebody's on TV and they're talking about the Palestinians and the Gazans and they talking about who owned the land, I say, nah, that's all. That's a la. That's me and Officer Montaza. That's his identity. That's his identity. I would say damawa. Damawa, his identity. Y at the end indicates his. That would be damawa. Y at the end is his. If I was talking about Sister Ana, I would say damaha. Or Sister Nazam, damaha. That's her identity. Or Sister Ra'aya, damaha. That's her identity. Or Sister Coco, that's damaha. That's her identity. So her at the end is going to be ha. That character ha at the end is going to be her. Now, if I'm talking about us versus them versus Esau versus Amalek versus the Gazis versus whoever over there fighting over our land, that adjective or pronoun for our is going to be nawa. 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 Now, I have it wrote backwards here. It says wana. But the reason why, who could tell me why it's wrote why nah, not why? You see now why on your right hand side, but over here it says why not? Who could tell me why that is? Let's see who's still with me, who's still paying attention, who's still with me in class. Why does it say why nah and it says nah why over here? Who could tell me why that is? Who could tell me why that is? It has a lot to do with, like I was saying, as far as when it comes to what we've been taught, the language that we've been taught. We've been taught something very specific when it comes to reading, and that's why it says why now, but I'm really saying now why. What's something very distinct and particular about the Hebrew language, about our language? How are you supposed to read versus how we were taught to read? And Officer Mataza Karai, yep, Officer Mataza Karai is on it. It's read right to left. And Aqua Nazamana is on it because we read right to left. So again, everything you will learn over here on inside this Western Hemisphere, because Esau is the biggest bully in the earth. America is the biggest bully in the earth. We learned that it was left to right. Sister Raya is on it, but it should be right to left. So that's why you will see when it says our right there, again, it says why not, because you will read that nawa. Now, second question, which na would we use? If I was writing this nawa, which na would we use? Will we use the na on the top or will we use the na on the bottom? Sister Na says you write from right to left, from writing and reading in Hebrew. Absolutely correct. So which na will we use? Will we use that na in the Assyrian? Will we use the na on the top or will we use the na on the bottom? Which one we use? If I'm writing Nawah, the word Nawah, again, it is a pronoun. It's at the beginning of the word. It's at the beginning, but would I use that? I'm sorry, it's at the end of the word, but would I use that because it's at the end of a word? Would I use the na that's on the top or the na that's on the bottom? That's an old Officer Matazah Karak question right there. That's one to make you scratch your head and think a little bit. So if we're saying Nawah, we know this Nawah. It's an adjective. It's a pronoun. It's coming at the end of the word, right? If I'm saying the why, like identity, if that's what I'm saying, that's the word that I'm using. If I'm saying dema, a salaka dema for identity. If I'm saying our identity, dema nawa, how would I write that? That nawa, that na, and that nawa that's coming at the end of this word. Which na would I use? Which na would I use? Would I use that na on the top? Or would I use that na on the bottom? Which na would I use? I got me old good one over here too, Officer Matazah Karam. I'm gonna send you a picture of it afterward. Got me old good one I'm gonna have to make for you one of these days. But which na would I use? Who knows? Who knows which na I would use? And the reason why I asked this is one of the things in preparing for class, a couple of classes back, I had to make a couple of calls to call to find out to be sure about, because I realized I didn't know it. I didn't know it right off, so I had to make a couple of calls. And once it was explained to me, it made sense. Damn right, off some Tazaka, right? That damn right. But once I called, once I was going over it, I realized I didn't quite know that. Now, once I got the answer, it did make sense, but it was one of the things like, damn it, I hadn't really thought about that before. It's at the end of a word. We know what letters are supposed to be used at the end of a word, but this is Nawah, at the end of a word. So what character would I use? Would I use the one on the top, or would I use the one on the bottom? Who knows? I'll give you a couple more seconds at it. Who can tell me? Who could tell me what character would I use? The one on that top, the one on that bottom. All right, I got it. All right, they're getting brave. I see it coming in. Sister Nizam said the bottom, but I'm not sure, but I'm learning. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Look, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She said the bottom. Officer Matazah Karak came in. He said that top right. Anybody else? Before we reveal the answer, before we reveal the $1 million, ain't anybody else? Well, yeah, Sister Raya, you were popping like popcorn last week. Well, yeah. I know you know. Which one do we use? We use that one on the top, or we use that one on the bottom? All right, Sister Na here. Sister Na said, yeah, I think the bottom too. Okay. All right, I see the young man chiming in. The young man chiming in. They say the top. Okay, I got you. All right, so, all right, and there she go. All right, there goes Sister Ryan. She came in. She said that top right. Now, again, there's never no wrong answers in here, because just like Sister Nizam said, we are learning, and this is how we learn. But that one that you want to use, is going to be that one that's on the top. You want to use that one at the top. Reason being, and that word Nawah, the last character is going to be the Wa. That's going to be the last character. Now, if that now was the actual last character, then you will use that one that's on the bottom. But because the na, because it's the beginning of that particular word right there, Nawah, then you would still use that one. It's still like it's just like it's at the beginning of a word. And but I applaud everybody again chiming in, reason being, damn right, Sister Nizamana, it makes sense. And a yonder bar. And the reason why I wanted to point that out, because again, when I was going over it, I realized I didn't know. So now I'm on the phone. I got like 30 minutes for class, so now I'm on the phone trying to get a good answer. And then, but once it was explained to me, it's like, okay, that does make sense. So again, because it's not that last character, then it's going to be just like it was at the beginning of a word. If it was that very last character, then that would change. So if for some reason there was a ka at the end of that word, and that ka was the very last character, then we would use the ka that goes at the end of a word versus the one that goes at the beginning. So that's tawa. That's all right. That is all right. That is all right. All right. So nawa. Nawa is our. I'm sorry, Salakia. So we were going over the word identity, which is dama. You got any of them fake imposters at your job? Dama is identity. So we saying our identity is going to be dama nawa'a. Dama nawa. Dama nawa. Salakia. Dama nawa. If we saying their identity, they're in the male. So if it's a group of brothers, a group of Akim, we would say dama ma. Dama ma. Yeah, dama ma. Ma at the end of it. Ma at the end of a word indicate their in the male sense. So it's a plural of them, but it's male. So their male would be ma. Ma at the end. Now, I can't ask you the trick question about that one because, again, it's only one character. And this is how you kind of know how that makes sense because it's just that one character. Now, ma, we see that the ma that we use is the one that's closed versus the one that's open that we would use at the front. So we would use that ma that's closed because it's just that ma, and that's going to be the very last character. So that's the one that we would use at the end. Same thing with na. If I was saying damana, if I was talking about the sisters and I was saying this is their identity. If I was talking to an imposter, I've seen a whole bunch of imposters today. You'd be surprised how many imposters is up north, New York, Delaware, Pennsylvania. You will be, I mean, it's all you see when you stop at the rest stops. And me being me, my rib looking at me like I'm crazy. Oh, I love to make them feel uncomfortable. I love to make them feel uncomfortable. So I'm gonna be Hebrew, ISUPK 1 West down. Shout out to Officer Yatazar. Shout out Officer Yatazar. He's over the Haiti camp, but out there in New York. This beautiful jacket I got. Beautiful jacket with the black and the gold. And I wear it everywhere. I'm so glad it's hoodie season now. So I try to make them feel uncomfortable every damn where I go. But it's a lot of them. But they are imposters. This is the ma. This is the ma nawa. This is our identity. But if I was saying that this was Sister Akwaf Raya, Akwaf Ana, Akwaf Akwaf Coco, Akwaf Nazam, Ana, I would say it was Dama Na. This was their identity that the rest of them steal and try to make theirs. This is their identity. So that's going to be your adjective. All right, so we went over, so that'd be the na at the end. And again, that na at the end, it's going to be that same na. It's going to be a little bit shorter than the ra, than the da. It's going to be shorter than the ka. A little bit more curved and so forth. Yep, exactly. Unless there's one man, if there's one brother in there, then we would go back to the ma again. You are absolutely correct, Sister Raya. Absolutely correct. Absolutely. So that word dama, I wasn't even planning on using dama, but dama meaning identity. That's how you would go through and you would conjugate that. So we got a little bit of practice on both of them at the same time. Now, let's see. Let's stop this. The words I had planned on going over were fight, and eat. The words I had planned on going over were fight and eat. So what I want to do is, let's do this. All right, new board. Give me a new board. Now, you know I don't like no white boards. Give me my black board. Where my black board at? Acting up. No, I don't like no white board. I ain't nothing white. I don't know if y'all ever seen Boys in the Hood. where the cop pull him over, and he said he don't like nothing black. You know what I'm saying? I'm the opposite. I don't like nothing white. Where my black boy at? Where we at? And now I ain't gonna be able to remember how to change it because I ain't looked at it since the last time we was in here. All right, but we just have to use the whiteboard. We'll use that for tonight. I guarantee this is gonna be the last time y'all see a whiteboard. I'm still trying to figure out how to damn change it. Hold on, where we at? Come on, man, don't make me use this whiteboard. Say number Esau right here, y'all. They know I don't like no whiteboard. I had set this. I logged in, made an account. When I hate making all them different accounts. Exactly. Sister Nazam exactly. Black stand out more than everything. I can't stand using no doggone whiteboard. Can't stand using no doggone whiteboard. Okay, well, hold on. Let's try this real quick. Let me see. Oh, you know what? We might be good. Let me log in since it saved it. Now, can I get a blackboard now? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. New board. Now you heard me just say I don't know whiteboard. Here we go. All right, bet we in there. We in there. Look, I signed in and made an account just for that very reason, because I didn't want to use no damn whiteboard. Lord willing, I'm gonna have a very, very big plantation. All the little ones gonna get sold and shipped off to Officer Matazar Corral right up the road. They'll never get to see their little ones, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother class, but Lord willing, I'm gonna really need you, Officer Matazar Corral, because hey, all they little ones, I'm poking a hole in the box and they little asses right up the road. You ain't worry about them no more. Same way they did ours. Same way they did. You'll never see them again. All right. I want to have a reputation. You know, in the Bible, when it talks about the name of the Most High, it talks about the name of our King Yahweh Shai. When it says the name, it's talking about their reputation. Lord willing, I'm going to have a reputation for having one of the hardest damn plantations to make it on. You probably ain't going to make it on mine. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm going to need y'all for some Matazar Corral to replenish my damn field. Yeah, damn right. Damn, I heard that. Yeah, right. The water. Sister Dad said, payback. Tell me about it. Yep. It's gonna be hard for them to make it on Yagada goddamn plantation. Let me tell you now. You might not make it. All right, so we got our blackboard up. The words that again I want to go over tonight was one is gonna be lakam, which is fight, and then eat, which is a call. We'll start with lakam since we get a little short on time. And I'm gonna get this time thing down. We'll start with fight, with which is lakam. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write it out first. So let me see what we got working with it. Let me see what we got. I do not like how that look at all. Let's erase that. You know, I like that color. All right, so fight is going to be lakam. So I'm going to start out in the again in the Assyrian. In the Assyrian, it will be all right, and then which is la, ka, and then the ma, lakam. All right. So we went over some of the the prefixes, and we went over the prefixes. We went over the adjectives. So what I want to do is, this is the word fight. All right. I'll write that too. Let's see if I can do that. Nah, I don't like that part. I'm not even gonna put that on there. Y'all know what's going on. We good to go. I'm not even gonna waste no time putting that. All right, bet. So that's lakam. You have la, you have ka. Again, you want to kind of scratch your throat when you say it, and then you got ma. And that ma now, because it's at the end, it's closed off. That will be fight. That's gonna be the word fight. Lakam, that's gonna be fight. Now, what I want y'all to do phonetically, if I was to say this is his fight, how would I say this is his fight? All right, perfect. Officer Mataz, I'll put up there. Yep, that's exactly how we would write it out. In the English, we will write it out Lacum, or phonetically, we will write out Lacum. Now, if I was to say this was his fight, how would I express the same thing as saying his fight? And we'll do that we'll make that orange. How would I say his fight? Lakamwa. Okay, I got you. And Sister Raya, let's give her a hand. She says Lakamwa. So what we will write? La. I don't like that at all. And I promise y'all I'm gonna practice with this and we're gonna get better with these tools. La. La. Now the M would change a little bit because we're not well, yeah, it would change a little bit because now this M wouldn't be at the end now. Now the M is going to be contained within the word. So now that M would be all right. So I know, did I get it open on the right spot? I think I opened it on the wrong doggone spot. Let's do that again. That's better. Okay. So la, ka, ma, then tenfold. Let's change it up to then. All right. And matter of fact, I'm gonna get the cheat sheet one. La, ka. Now again, this is where you will see that ka wrote sometimes and I actually kind of like it better this way because I think it stands out from the tha, which is what this kind of looks like from the tha and from the ha. So la, ka, ma, wa, just like the sister said. Oh no, ain't nothing wrong with that, Sister Ryan. You is right on it. You is doing your thing. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. And then the wa would be like that. So if I was saying his fight, so Lakam is fight, Lakamwa would be his fight. Now, what if I was saying her fight? How would I say this is her fight? Like if we was talking about the sister Ruth or the sister Esther, which is coming up with the Feast of Purim. Or we was talking about one of the sisters. How would I say this is her fight? Now, I wasn't planning on it, but when we trying to write with the mouse, it's a little different and it's not as legible as some of the stuff that you will see as far as the actual text when you're looking at the wording. This is what you're gonna get when you're looking at handwriting and so forth. So this is why, again, knowing the mechanics of the word, knowing that ka again, for the most part, line, it doesn't have the curves like a tha would have up there. Let me erase that one too. All right. So if I was saying her, if I was saying this was her fight, how would I say this is her fight? Fight meaning lakam. How would I say this is her fight? All right. Sister Nizamana said lakam ha. Exactly. That's how we would say that this is her fight. So again, we would go with the la, And we got the ka. All right. Then we got the ma, which again is going to be in the middle. It's not at the end of the word. So la, kam, ha. And then ha, which is going to be so again that ha and that ha, that ka, and that tha can look alike, but by drawing it like writing it like this, it does kind of stick out a little bit more. So you got la, kam, ha. Now, one thing that I didn't write on these that I should have been writing on these. All right, so this word fight, which is la, kam. When you're reading this, sometimes you will see it out words, you will see the connectors at the bottom. So you'll see like this, right? Meaning that stands alone, la. Then you will see the kam. Hold on, did I write something wrong? What I write wrong? Hold on. Oops, ha, not ka. Oh, you know what? Look, I ain't even, you told on yourself, Sister Ryan. You told on yourself. I hadn't even see it up there, but that's just a good student. You told on yourself, but I do see it. But yeah, it's gonna be ka. No, it's gonna be ha, not ka. Damn right. I ain't even see it up there. All right, but you will see the connectors at the bottom. So that la will stand at the bottom. It's gonna be like a little u this way. Then you'll see ka and ma. You will connect that like this to let you know that those go together. All right, so lakam. All right, same thing with lakam wa. You would say la. You know that kind of stands by itself. La kam wa. So you will kind of know that that stands alone. These two go together. Let me erase that right there. Damn it, I didn't mean erase that much. So la. Hold on. Let's get rid of both of those. I got you, and I got you. For me, it just for me, sometimes I just made it make more sense to me as far as me reading it. So that's why I threw it up in there, because I think it's gonna be totally different when you're reading that Assyrian. But again, for me, it just kind of made it easier for me to actually read those when I was actually as far as me remembering how those words actually are pronounced. So la, kam, la, again, kam, wa. And then for her, it'll be la, kam, and then ha. Now, last one. Our fight. How will we say our fight? Now, for this one, since we done went through it 3 times, I'm gonna take everything off the board. We're gonna see who's paying attention. How would I say, or phonetically, how would y'all write our fight? This is our fight. Demise identity. It's Dama Nawa. This is our identity, not the imposters out there. How will we say our fight? How will we write our fight? Who could tell me how we would do our fight? All right, I see some answers coming in. All right, okay. I think we just got somebody just joined our Instagram. We just got a follow on Instagram. Yeah, it's popping up on my screen. All right, so our fight. I got a couple of answers coming in. Sister Raya said, Lakam Nawa. Sister Nazamana said, Lakam Nawa. And they are absolutely both correct. We would say Lakam Nawa. And that would be our fight. Yes, that's how we would indicate that that's our fight. And we will write that like la. All right, Sister Nas on it as well. Like, y'all doing your thing. Y'all are ahead of the game. Ahead of the game, la. ka. Lakam, then nawa. Now again, because the na isn't right at the end of the word, that na, which is going to be like almost like a little short body C. Hold on, I don't like that one. I think I can live with that one. I think it's a little bit more straight up here though. La, kam, na, wa. Now that wa, I think wa doesn't change. Wa is going to be the same no matter what. The wa, it's going to be like that. So it would be la, kam, because these two will go together. Na, wa. In the ancient, it would be la, kam, that M again, la, kam, na, wa. Ours looks so much easier to do, but la, kam, na, wa. And this is how we would say our fight. Our fight. It's very important when you're going over these and you're doing this that you write them out for yourself. You write them out in your own handwriting. That way, again, it'll stick more. It'll make more attention, and then we'll kind of go from it'll make it easier for it to stick when it comes to you, and you actually reading it later on. All right. Sister Nizam and us at Tawab class is making sense to me now. It's finally clicking in. Hey, look, that's how I be sometimes. I be looking at it sometimes like, okay, now I get it. Now it makes sense. And for me, like until it clicks, until I can reproduce it or redo it on my own, I'm just looking at it. So the water, it has to make sense to you. You have to write it out on your own so that it makes sense. You have to be able to kind of see it, be able to reproduce it. If you can't reproduce it, you ain't there yet. You got to be able to say, okay, cool. If I was going to say our fighter, you got to be able to write it on your own and rewrite it, blank paper, be able to write it back out. If you can do that, well, now you've learned it. Now you be able to regurgitate it or spit it back out or teach somebody else it. So, all right. So I think that's good. I think we're gonna stop right there. That's a good stopping point. I think that's a good stopping point. So I'm gonna stop sharing this screen. It's very important that you write this stuff out on your own. If y'all need anything, let us know as far as some word dictation or whatever. I can try to work on sending some stuff out to you. Other than that, do we have any questions? Let me get my regular screen back up. Where we at? Do we have any questions on anything that we went over tonight? Tonight we went over the alphabet. After the alphabet, we went over the prefixes. After the prefixes, we went over the adjectives. Your prefix is going at the front. Your adjective is going at the end of a word. After that, we took the word fight. Now I didn't do a call. I didn't do eat. I'll do that when we come back in. That'll be our word for next week. So next week, our word for next week will be eat, which is a call, which is going to be the ah. It's going to be the ka, not the ka, but the ka. So it'll be ah, ka, and then the la sound. So that's gonna be the word that we'll go over next week, and that's gonna be a call. So if you want to get ahead of the game a little bit, you'll kind of know what we're gonna work on next week. Next week it'll be eat. Well, Salakia, not next week, but week after next. Next week we're gonna have my brother Officer Matazah Quran here dropping down, doing his thing. But when I come back in week after next, we'll start with a call. We'll start with eat. And we'll go from there. Now it'll speed up. We'll go a little bit faster with the alphabet, the prefixes, the pronouns, and so forth. And we'll start to work more and more stuff in. We are learning together. We're gonna learn together. We're gonna get good and efficient and fluent with it together. So the water for everybody coming in and joining in tonight. I don't see any questions in there. So if I don't see any questions, we're gonna get ready to go ahead and get on up out of here. I'm going to find some announcements somewhere around here. Get out announcements, and we're going to go from there. If you haven't noticed, the world is on fire. The world is on fire, and the Lord is doing that for us. He's doing that for us. Officer Matazak Ross said, we definitely learn it together. Hey, tell me about it. ABCs and 1, 2, 3. We are learning together. But that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. That's a good thing. Everybody does learn at their own pace, but the fact that we're able to start at this this one point right here and kind of go forward again, that's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. One thing that I learned, I'm always listening to different classes and so forth. Generation. When you talk about generations is a group of people that were living around the same time. So the thing about all of us in here now, this ain't our first time around each other. You know what I'm saying? That's and I'm not heard of. I was like, that's amazing. This ain't our first time around each other. We was all around here same time last time. You know what I'm saying? The Bible talks about regeneration. And so this regeneration, this generation, we done been here before and we was here together last time. And it's a good chance that if we're trying to serve the Lord now, we were serving the Lord last time as well. Or maybe this your first time getting it right and you're serving the Lord. But either way it go, we learning, we getting stronger, we building this nation together. So if there's any questions, concerns, anytime y'all have, y'all make sure y'all let it be known. Tomorrow, a lot of the brothers going to be out in camps, putting that work in, battling these doggone heathens and everybody else. But it should be plenty of classes on that. I'm gonna try to make sure Lord willing, I get a couple of street joints out, so you'll be able to watch that tomorrow as well. But Sister Nizam, that's at the Water to Virginia. Y'all don't make me feel stupid for trying to learn even with it. Nah, and really nobody should be doing that. Really. Now you do have some classes because I've logged on to some of them before. So the Water sisters, but Yandaba, I've logged on to some of them before, and it's like they doing calculus. They're doing calculus, and I'm still trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? The times table. So I definitely understand what you're saying. But we do try to make sure we take it slow, and even with all of our classes, never feel ashamed to ask what you gotta ask. If they all gotta throw down, hey, all slow down, because we all gotta get on this doggone bus. You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful part about the ISUPK, we do what the Lord said. The Lord said we don't leave nobody behind that's got a ticket. Now you don't get no ticket if you ain't working. So if you working to get your ticket, you damn sure gonna get a seat. So a yonder bar says a yonder bar aqua, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it eventually. Watch Officer Rosh gonna be Officer Rosh and Mob gonna be reading, and we're gonna be right there with him. He gonna look up and we're gonna be waiting for some more. We gonna know we did our thing at that point. So we're working on it. We're gonna get there again. The water to everybody for being in class, and with that, we're gonna get these announcements. All right, so we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out on 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother or sister. If a new brother or sister, when a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if the brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. And after the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment found in Numbers chapter 18, verses 21. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means 10th, or in the Hebrew, or ma'ashura. Ma meaning from, Ishura 10th. So from 10, my Ishura. 10% of every penny of increase the Lord gives you, you want to give to the treasury fund, a treasury department, or the teacher. There's also a priest fund. Priest fund is a free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory, and that's going to be whatever amount you want to give. Upcoming holy convocation is going to be December 7th, Hanukkah. After that, February 22nd and 23rd is going to be the Feast of Purim. And everybody already know, hopefully y'all are getting ready for the Passover. The Passover is going to be April 17th through the 22nd. That's going to be in Durham, Durham, North Carolina this year. And we're going to all be together, same hotel. Beautiful thing about that, we're going to all get to come together to see each other. You know what I'm saying? For me, I always equated or look at it like the family reunion. You know, you talk to your folks all year long. We actually get together and be around each other and see each other. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You got to worry about nobody touching the kids. You got to worry about nobody getting drunk and fighting and none of that mess. So again, I look forward to seeing everybody at the Passover. Make sure you pay your Passover fee. You can go to ISUPK.com and pay your Passover fee. Once you get that knocked out, go ahead and start working on those beautiful, beautiful garments. If you don't know, we got a sister right here in the school that do some beautiful, beautiful work. Trust me, I know. I try to make sure I get me one every time. Officer Mataza Karai get one. I won't give me one of them too. So shout out to Aqua Ra'aya, who do great work. So again, yeah, I'm gonna knock your Passover fee out. If you knock that Passover fee out, we'll start working on those garments and everything else. That hotel fee. If there is a brother that wants to be a trooper in the school, make sure you start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. Sisters, you want to make sure your head is uncovered. Sister Ryan said that's wonderful. Hey, damn right. Y'all make sure y'all tell it. I'll be wrong enough for us all to feel comfortable to try. And that's how it's supposed to be. In Esau's school, the Esau's military, the Esau's job, you may feel intimidated. Even then, you shouldn't be, because everything they get from us. But in here, you should never, ever feel like that. You are amongst family. I think it's Mashakapa. I might have to go over that again, Officer Matazai. But again, you're around family. You're around family here. And again, your family should make you feel bad about learning. And so we definitely try not to here in Virginia. And we appreciate everybody here. Sister Nizam said a thigh, damn right. Sister Ryan said the water, so I already know I ain't been able to get down there because I was out trying to recuperate. But I'm definitely, I think I'm gonna try to creep down there. I don't know if what are we doing tomorrow, but I might try to hide it off some Matazai Karai tomorrow. We might have to do a little 10 cup meeting or something. You know, we might try and work something out, but I'm gonna hit you up and let you know. But the water for everybody. It's been a great week. Awesome week. The Lord is moving. Lord willing, we won't be here too many more weeks. Lord willing, hey, we be there like we're gonna be. So the water to everybody. Make sure y'all tune in rest of the week. Again, tomorrow I'm gonna try to drop some videos. So if y'all look on the site, y'all should see a couple of videos of us being out, Warren, in the street. And from that, hey, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Lathan Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. And we will see y'all next time. I'm gonna end it on we're gonna end it with our intro. And Officer Matazai Karai, you already know I made one for you too. You already know I made one for you too. We're gonna end it with the intro, and we're gonna go from there. And with that, Shalom.
My true love's here.
Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of truth to this tree of life. Open up the book just to see I'm right. Reminiscing on my ancestors, on those ships who had to plead for life. Took us to a place where ain't never safe there. Poisoning our foods and put our children up in daycare. Fresh out of slavery, still thinking that they care. Guns in the community, children can't play there. Brothers still brainwashed, we died for that same cost. Took away our history, believing that we ain't lost. Brother, I'm an Israelite, sin is like kryptonite. Brothers won't pray, no, they'd rather link a chick tonight. Praises to the Most High, I ain't like most guys. Eyes on the future, but I learned from a boat ride. Tribe of Benjamin, inherited on both sides. Background Jamaican, mistreated and I know why. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Kwam Yasha Allah, sons of the power. Rise from the ghetto when Satan want us devoured. The seal of the Lord ain't found in church towers. Never dying on my knees like no coward. Wanna be an Israelite, you gon' need more than fringes. You gon' need to show you approve and get in them scriptures. Oh, I forgot to mention, traumatized from the lynching. Homicide, we the victim. Homicide ain't the ending. Kids with PTSD, suffering symptoms, never getting treatment. Something he gotta sleep with. Stockholm syndrome so long that it ain't a secret. That's why I die for them brothers I'm facing east with. Cause I'm an Israelite. Crackers better get it right. Visions of my enemies, death flow through my dreams at night. And if your mind ain't there, then we don't dream alike. Reporting live from hell, home of Christians and Edomites.
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
While they play the sidelines, comfortable on benches. Catch me on the front lines, putting work in trenches. Making sure our election, preparing for Armageddon. Mastering this profession of prophesying these lessons. Protecting our adolescents and answering all their questions. Teaching the love they reflection, no matter what the complexion. We got a common connection, a part of God's hand selection. A shot at the resurrection, through us achieving perfection. But to give life takes sacrifice. Battle demons every vice. Short days and long nights. Less sleep and more fights. More wisdom, more strife. Telling everybody that they wrong and you're right. I'm an Israelite, blood of an Israelite. I ride for my Israelites and die for my Israelites. We owe a debt cause Christ paid the price. So who ready to give their life the life of an Israelite?
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.